Let's mute ourselves.
Okay. You don't have to mute for long. I'm going to ask certain people to unmute at some point, but we will get there. Or should we wait for like the actual, because I know Michelle said she might be late though. She's on her way home. Who else are we waiting on? Crystal's here. Devin's here. Darlene. That's it, right?
Yeah, I think we're.
So, okay, we're good. All right. So the wonderful Heather, after Summit.
Sorry.
I'm recording.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. I actually did it on time. So anyways, Heather, after Summit, kind of messaged Brian and I with this idea to do a spouse call. And we had kind of thought about it here and there before. And until she mentioned it, then it kind of had this light bulb in our heads. And we're like, okay, we should really get this going and do it because there's so much to be said for, spouses in the business, and whether they are just a cheerleader, whether they're working the business or, what are some other different roles?
The cheerleader, there's the all-in husband,
discount coach,
but
yeah,
the husband who's just generally supportive, maybe isn't going to be involved, but is supportive of the business.
Right. Exactly.
So
what we were going to do with this call is we have certain couples that are going to just share a little bit about, what they do in the business with their spouse. They can just share any little thing that they do, and then we're going to kind of have a discussion, and you guys can unmute yourselves and ask questions, or you can even use, where's the chat? You can use the chat box as well to post questions in while we're talking. So Brian and I will just start. But first of all, welcome to the call. Thank you guys, the men, for joining us because
this is definitely the most men that have ever possibly all together combined ever on a team call in this team. It's like 99% women. So represent, guys.
I like it. Let's do this. Awesome. So, okay. So anyways, just thank you guys for being here. And as you guys know, probably we run this business together, but it wasn't always that way in the beginning. It took him a little bit it took you asking what I was getting paid for or where my paychecks were coming from?
Yeah, we'll kind of go, a lot of you guys know our story, so I don't want to focus too much on it, but just for the new folks on the call tonight. So Amy and I do work this business really 50-50. A lot of you guys see Amy in the forefront, but I'm really all involved 100% in the team and my part of the business. And just to kind of go back to where it started, Amy started in the spring of 2011, and it was the kind of thing where she kind of just said, I'm going to be a Beachbody coach. And I I had my own business going. I had my own stuff and my full-time job. And I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't even know what that is. And she did it, for the first month or so, she was kind of learning the business, and she just did it completely on her own. And I always thank God because that I wasn't like the naysayer husband, because I'm always cringing when I hear the top coach, the top coach wife, and she's always like, oh, you didn't believe in me, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of sticks with you forever. So I'm glad I'm not that guy, but Amy had success pretty quickly in the business, and it kind of caught my eye. She was making money and she was having a good time, and it was kind of like a really appealing community to be a part of. So I just took it upon myself really to kind of try to fill in the gaps. In the beginning, I learned as much as I could about the business. That was one of the things, because one of the things that was funny about Amy is she was having success, but she couldn't always sort of explain what she was doing. She would say oh, I'm just helping people, or she would say how she loves what she's doing. She's helping people, but she would get these checks, and it'd be a couple $100 a week or whatever. And at that time, that was a lot of money that was really helping us. And but I'm an analytical person, so I would always be like, well, I'm sure there's some sort of formula that they're paying you on, and let's try to figure this out. Let's try to maximize it, because I really think you're good at this. So I took it upon myself back then I would follow. I printed. This is back in 2011. I printed the top 25 list. And honestly, this is something I still do to this day, is I printed the top 25 list of the current top 25 coaches in the company. And I just followed them for a long time. And I just tried to learn everything I could about them. And things sort of evolved. I sort of learned more about the business, about like, network marketing in general. And I tried to become an expert on, so I could answer questions for the team so that Amy didn't have to. Because my whole theory is with this business and being like a supportive husband is you really, for me anyways, I just want to let Amy do what she's great at. And there's things that she likes to do, like run challenge groups and talk to other ladies about getting healthy and fit and getting coaches started. And then there's things that she really doesn't like to do. And that's what I try to fill in the gaps on. I try to help out with the business side, help out with it sort of evolved into social media and the like page side. Mm-hmm. So I really believe in that. Now, you don't have to do it that way. You could just be a supportive husband that just maybe understands a little bit about what's going on and kind of boosts, her confidence or whatever. You don't have to do it like I do. Or you could be the all-in husband who's going to coach yourself. There's lots of coach husbands that do that as well, where there's two separate businesses and they're kind of supporting each other. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like that's really how we do it. We are like all in. This is our life. We work. Full-time. We still work pretty hard, full time. Yeah, I kind of glazed over it, but like I was working full time at the time. I was working full time, and I was selling real estate on the side. So I mean, I was pretty busy. I mean, I would say like I missed my son's like first year of life because I was so busy. But things evolved, and it just after a while, I didn't need the real estate business, and after a while after that, like say 3 years, I was able to come home, and I've been home with our kids since early 2014. So it can evolve. It can, it's certainly, and there's lots of guys, I know there's guys on this call that are on that path that are going to, in the next year or so easily that they're going to be able to do that for themselves. Mm-hmm. And it's an amazing thing. I mean, this business to us isn't really about the money so much. It's about what the money does for you. It's about the time freedom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So,
and I mean, just the fact that he can coach Jack's soccer team now, and we can go to their school events together in the afternoon, where he would never see the kids before. He'd kiss them goodnight and that's it. So it's been definitely a blessing. And we definitely, we both have our strengths, and I have my weaknesses that he helps to build up. And he's a good numbers guy and I'm not. Simply, I'm going to admit it. I suck at numbers. I was never good at math.
We're sort of lucky in a way that we're like almost polar opposite. Where like, Amy is really, really strong at some of the areas that maybe I'm not at, and I can fill in the gaps in the things that she doesn't frankly like to do, So that's our story. Like I say, I want to make it all about us, but that's where we come from, and we're still doing it. I mean, we're still working hard all the time. We'll be up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning tonight, hustling and doing our thing because we just don't. And
it's not easy. It does take hard work, but when you love what you do.
I mean, we hustled for this. I mean, this is the thing Amy was up when Amy was working full time, she was working at this business until 2 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and going to her job. And that was our life. And I wasn't up as late, but I was up, I was getting home at 7 o'clock at night and working this until bed. Right. We gave up a lot of things for this.
It takes some sacrifice, but I want to share our story so that you guys know the potential that is there. And maybe you see your wife on the phone all the time and it's frustrating. You're like, oh my God, get off the phone and pay attention to me. Yeah. But there is a balance, but it also is, you have to just see that where she's going and that she has this passion, and it could build into something that could potentially change your life. So, I
mean, I hear a lot of guys say that is like a pain point, especially in the beginning, where they don't really get it, like that their wife is on their phone all the time and that social media kind of takes up a large part of your life. And I get that 100%. But what this evolved for us too is like it's kind of cool to have one thing like in common that's not like our kids or our family or whatever. Because as you have kids and they grow up, like your whole focus is sort of around them. It's nice to have something where it's kind of ours and we kind of both get it. We both get the struggle. We both kind of. I mean, of course, you sort of butt heads sometimes too. I mean, it's not all rainbows and unicorns, of course, but it is nice to have something that like I understand like what she's going through. She understands, the battles we wage every day. So it's cool. It definitely does bring us close together. It definitely keeps us together because we just have that one thing in common. Yeah, exactly.
For sure. All right,
so that's us. That's us.
Okay.
We're out.
Moving on. How about we go to, Devin looks ready. She's like, yeah. No? Oh, no. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go, Michelle, are you ready? Michelle and Terry, they popped in. No. Oh, do I need to unmute?
Terry, is that the hat you're wearing backwards at the 80s party?
No, that's not.
I bet you're wearing the pants, though.
I haven't taken them off.
So anyways, maybe just share a little bit about, where you guys have come from since you started, and then where you are today and what has kind of brought you there.
This is Terry.
What? Okay, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be talking about here. I missed the first part of the call.
Okay.
But basically, I don't know. Michelle signed up for this thing, and realistically, I had no problem with it right from the beginning because she loved what she was doing. It was something she was bored of her other job, to be honest. Wasn't getting anything out of it. She just complained a lot about who she worked with, and the crap she had to deal with.
Okay.
So when she came upon this, and I didn't really expect a whole lot, to be honest with you. I sold water filters when I was 19 in high school. So I thought this was just a scam. I lost $1,000. I sold 1 out of 6 that I had to buy. So, but as soon as I found out you didn't have to buy inventory, that makes a big difference. It's a pretty damn cheap business to get into.
Yeah.
$15, $20 a month, whatever the fees are, is nothing to run a business. And I know, because that's what I'm self-employed. So it's not easy. I can't think of an easier way to make money if you want to work.
Right.
To be honest with you, like easy. That's not a fair word. Sorry. What am I trying to say?
I have no idea.
It's just so, like, there's very little cost, I guess, other than time, right? It's your investment of time. You don't have to put a lot of money into it if you don't want to. We have coaches that do very well with very low budgets, if any budgets. Obviously, some top coaches in the company are spending a lot of money per month, and it works out for them as well. As far as my support of Michelle goes, I'm more of a sounding board, I would say, than anything at this point. I try to help her weed through different ideas, and I come up with them sometimes to help her out. But I try to just pick up the slack around the house, make sure my daughter's getting some attention from one of us. Because there's times, right, where
yeah, for sure,
where the social media takes over. So, you gotta trade off. I think.
I think something that's really important is you have to, and here I am taking over the call as I knew I would. But you have to communicate what you want with your spouse. So if you're not telling your spouse what you want from this business, how can you expect him to support you? I told Terry right away, okay, this Amy chick, I don't know what 5-star elite means, but she's making 6 figures, and that is what I'm going to do. And I just told him that was what I wanted. That's why I wanted to do it. My goal was actually to get him out of a situation that he wasn't happy in. So I explained all of that to him right away. I don't know if it's going to work. I have no clue, but I want to try this. And what's the big deal? I'm not losing anything because I'm getting something in return. I'm getting a program and whatever in return. So you can't lose here. I communicated what it was. As much information as I had, I told him. And I asked him to support me. This is something I really want to do. You're my partner. Can you please support me on this? And let's do it for 6 months and see what happens. If you're not getting the information information out to your partner. You can't expect him or her to support you. I really think that's so important. And I know, it might be talking to your upline and asking, how can I explain this better to my husband? Like, he's not getting it. Or what did you say to yours? Like, just reach out and ask us to help you through it. Because I think if you communicate and ask for support, and maybe make it a timeline thing. Like, I know Terry's into numbers. He really did just support me from the very beginning. So I didn't have some of the challenges that some of you have, but some people are really into numbers. So maybe okay, well, you give me 5 months and I can just pour my heart into this. And if it doesn't work, we'll just walk away and that's okay. Can you give me that much time? Like, you're married. You're supposed to be supporting each other. I can't imagine that a spouse on this call wouldn't do that for you if you communicate it in the proper way.
Mm-hmm. Great point.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
I don't know how to follow that up. But yeah, no, we talk a lot. We've always talked a lot. So, our TV doesn't go on until... Well, it doesn't even hardly ever go on anymore, but it never used to go on until 10:30 or 11 at night anyway. We talked about our businesses because we were both self-employed. It's just something we always talk about, and this was just another business, basically.
Like something Terry has done now, and this is going to seem crazy to the husbands on this call. I have a salon and spa and have owned that for like forever, like 15 years. He now runs a salon and spa. So that is how, like, Beachbody has taken over our life enough that Terry's saying, you know what? Sure, let me go sell hairspray and you stay home and you sell some Beachbody. And like, I still go and I cut hair a couple days a week. I mean, it is part of our livelihood. It's not something that's going to go away, but like, that's how this has changed our life. I've gone from working crazy hours at this salon and spa on my feet, and then managing 15 women, all of that. He's taken over all the HR stuff. I don't do any of it.
And that's really fun, just so you know.
So Terry, you're not managing 15 women, huh?
Not another male around.
So I mean, that's it for any men on the call that are wondering how this can change your life.
Yeah.
This was very unexpected for us. I never had any expectation of me ever leaving my hair salon, ever.
Right.
And this is like taking our whole life in a flip-flop. So that's what it can do for your life.
Totally.
If you work. It's not easy. Don't ever think it's easy. I say that on every single call I do. If anyone told you this is easy, I am very sorry. It's not. It is a lot of work.
It's simple.
It's very simple. It's fun.
I think that was the word you were looking for, Terry.
Yeah.
Right? Like simple.
Simple but hard.
But simple but not easy. I mean, it's not complicated,
Right.
but not easy. Yeah. So Terry, you're more of a sounding board. You understand the business. I know you sort of not. You guys kind of consult also over social media posts. I know Amy and I do that too. Or sometimes it's good to have a second eye on social media posts to sort of.
Yeah.
He's also really good at social media. Like, he'll post stuff for Michelle, like pictures of Michelle doing stuff around the house and like getting her workout in, and he's.
Yeah.
Well, I figure anytime I can post, that's just one less thing she has to do, because she does at least 3 a day on each page, right? So.
Yeah.
And I see you posting on the team page. Like, you get what's going on for sure. Like, you get this business.
Yeah.
And pay attention to all that, and that's awesome. That's great. And I'm sure you'll probably have, because you're transitioning into the salon full time.
Yeah. I'm getting out of my family business, which I've been in for 23 years.
Yeah.
23 years. Yeah. So as of the end of August, I'll be out of it.
Good for you.
Unless I decide to do something on the side by myself. So I'm not sure what I'll do. Definitely I'm going to be adding time to Michelle's business in any way I can. And I'll have more time at the salon as well.
That's
well,
awesome.
good for you guys. Congratulations. I know all the work that is. I mean, it couldn't happen to a couple harder workers. I mean, that's awesome.
You guys have done awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks.
All right, let's go to Darlene and Tie Guy.
He has a name, right?
Rob. His name's Rob, for real.
He's Tie Guy to us.
No, he's Tie Guy. That's it. He wouldn't wear the tie.
All right, guys. So we know a little bit of your before story. He wasn't always a believer, and kind of share how he's gotten there. I know, but go ahead and share.
I would say it was probably, I started doing Beachbody in 2014 on my birthday when Michelle asked me, have you ever thought about coaching? You know that line. Everybody knows that. And I actually have been kind of following her. I knew of Beachbody. I've done the programs. Like I ordered Insanity. I don't know why I did that as my first one, but everybody watches those infomercials. So I started doing it, and I would say probably for a good year. And I wish I would have, like Michelle said, talked to your other half about it. I didn't think to say anything about it because I didn't really know a hell of a lot about it to begin with, right? Like everybody else. And as the more you get in it, and then what was the TSN turning point for you? Did we sit down and talk? Because he was always like, what are you doing on your phone? Who are you texting? What are you on Facebook for? You guys know the deal. Yeah. And then what's that?
What, was it the cruise or was it before that?
Cruise.
It was a cruise?
For sure.
Well, that was a tough kind of sell in one way because we were literally on the tarmac in Toronto coming back from a vacation in Cuba when I opened my mail up. And I said, we're off the list. I said, and he's like, darn, we just got back from a holiday. I'm like, we're going. I don't care. So, yeah, that was, and he was open to do it because we had been chatting about it a little more as throughout Christmas and whatnot.
But it was more money out. We had just spent money on a holiday, and it made no sense to me to go to my employer and say, yeah, I'm going on another holiday. And we were busy building 2 barns. I work construction. I've been swinging a hammer for 25 years. So the cruise, I met all you awesome couples on the cruise, and I seen everybody was down to earth and real people, not just all fitness freaks. And everybody has a story. And I couldn't believe that the entire ship was all Beachbody people and that this was their reward for all their hard work. I just couldn't get over it, and I still can't. So this company really looks after its people. And I just started doing the research, and I can't believe how well structured this multi-level marketing organization of Beachbody is. It just blows my mind, the depth of how well the toothpicks have all been put together to make this awesome bridge from just crap corporate North America to building your dreams and having hope for a future that you can dream about instead of just mundane, do your job and keep your head down and hopefully I'll have enough money when I retire. So anyway, I was total skeptic and I needed the PowerPoint presentation. Darlene was always on her phone. She was up every morning at 5 o'clock working out. I thought, what is going on? But she started to look pretty damn hot, had lots of energy, so I didn't say too much. But then little things like, I don't know, we're talking and she's on her phone. So she wasn't giving me, I was like, holy shit, what's going on? So we worked through that. And
I think after you saw everybody on the cruise, and you joined in. Okay. No, but anyways.
You could definitely see Rob getting it every single day of the cruise, and he was going to the events and he was going to
and he also said that he went to all of you guys and did little investigations with the husbands that were on the ship and kind of chatted and found out a little more because he wanted to see not just what us lady coaches do here or you yourself, Brian, but what the husbands were thinking of it or what they knew about it or whatnot.
I assume that's what any guy would do if he wanted to know what's going on. But then I wanted, I want some numbers here. And I seen her doing all this work, literally morning till night. And I thought, $200? What? And then Like, okay, whatever, keep at it. So she's happy, she's working out, and she's helping people. And she loves to help people. That's just a natural thing. So if she's going to get paid money to do it, well, okay, that makes sense. So I'll just kind of stay back, keep out of the way, do the dishes, cut the lawn, clean the pool, vacuum, fold laundry. I like that. But anyway, I don't like dusting, and sometimes I don't like water. But anyway, doing the domestic stuff. So any way it can help out. I'm not a computer guy.
Yet.
Whatever, but he wants me to do help her do a post, so do a workout or whatever. That's easy, whatever.
That got girls, husbands in your videos or whatever, that's engagement. Like I've noticed it every time he's in doing a workout, like that one we did 22 minutes.
You don't have to do the whole workout. You just get in there for 2 or 3 minutes, jump around, and she gets engagement. So whatever. But if you want to do the whole thing, knock yourself out. So when I really started to see things in my head come down was cracking the 500 a week without wavering below. Okay, now we're into some serious stuff. So if this can be something that is a stepping stone and really make a significant difference in our family income, okay, so that got my attention. And then I'm all in. And of course, going to Summit, I went and learned as much as I could. I'm on the national wake-up calls. I'm listening to podcasts. I got the apps on my phone. Like, I'm doing as much research.
This is our call. He's always on our calls, right?
He's always on these calls.
Yeah. I try to sit in with all her Zoom calls. I'm trying to learn as much as I can, like Terry and Brian have, and just do what I got to do. Eventually, I want to retire from construction, and we think that that's something that can literally happen. And then, maybe I can help out with inviting or connecting with people just to take a little of the load off of Dar. But I want to do more video, and I don't mind doing it. And that's about it.
And I think with him and any of the husbands too, he understood more about the programs. He did the 21-day fix extreme, which I'll put a little plug in. It's either going to be tomorrow or next week that he'll be on the Team Beachbody site for Transformation Tuesday.
Oh, look at that. Rob, Rob lost a ton of weight. Well, how much was it? Like 20?
I started at 243, and right now I'm like 204.
But even just in the 21 days, how many pounds did you lose? Like 20-something pounds, right?
21 pounds.
21
pounds in 21 days.
And
one other thing I wanted to say about you guys is, Dart, your business really seemed to take off after the cruise when Rob really bought in, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. 100%. Like any events, people go to the events because it just, I don't know what it does if it fires you up, but for him to then get it and then say, okay, go in the office, do your work. We're in the car. Yep, you're on your phone. It's all fine. Driving to Nashville, I was on the computer, and he was good with that because he knew you put in work, it's going to pay off.
Sure. And it gave you more confidence, right? Like you went into it more confident in what you were doing.
Yeah, it didn't. I didn't feel like I was kind of hiding what I was doing from him or feeling like I shouldn't be doing this. Like I could do this 24 hours a day and it doesn't seem like work. Well, sometimes if you're trying to do an ad and you don't get it, and that's a little stressful. But him doing the program in January, and like that's what I would really love if he could eventually. He was on the Challenge Tracker app. He was there and he was taking his posts and he was logging in every day. So that is a key for people that aren't on Facebook. Like he could totally coach. Maybe he'd have to learn a little bit about reaching out to people and whatnot, but he's never been one to sell even a buck and dough ticket to anybody.
Oh, I hate selling tickets. I hate selling all that. But, whatever.
But so that's where we are. He's all in. I'm hoping, our goal is to get him out of construction that he's been doing for far too long.
The thing I want to stress to the guys listening is, was it Terry maybe alluded to it? Whatever occupation you're in, and hopefully everybody's enjoying what they're doing, But we all have to bring a paycheck home. I'm at the top of what I can earn. I pretty much can't go in and ask for a raise. I'm pretty well there. So whether I work 80 hours a week, 365 or whatever, I'm there. So it's a dead end street. Like, it doesn't matter how hard, how fast, it's it. So I'm like, is this all there is? Is it, is this it? This here has given me the ability to dream again, to hope, and it's going to be hard work, and it's not going to fall in our lap, but at least we can hope for me to retire from my job and then work hard at this job. But something I enjoy doing too is fitness and helping people and get paid to do it, and build our dreams instead of my employer's dreams. There's a future and hope that one day we can have financial freedom, and the sky's the limit. This business is structured, the sky's the limit. So
that's great. Thank you.
I want to clap for that. I love his passion now. Like, we had our team party at Summit, and he leapt up on the stage and he said, "You guys have got to get to these events, and you have to support your loved one because it's so worth it." And I just love that fire in you now. Love it. Woo. Okay. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's move on and get the stories, and then we'll open up for questions. Let's do it. Crystal, can you unmute yourself?
Do you
and
want
Doug,
to
of course. I don't know. What are you going to talk about?
Unmute myself? No.
Hey, Doug.
Let's see. Well, he supports my drinking. I mean, my fitness. Honestly,
they support each other.
So supportive.
The truth is out.
Yes.
Well, I started this when he was working full-time in Virginia. And so he didn't have to really worry about me being on my phone much because he was never here to notice that anyway. But it took him quite a long time to, not, so to speak, let me, but he was a big skeptic. And it took Amy 2 years of asking me to be a coach for me to even think about it, first of all.
Because you had done, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you had done another MLM, right? Is that?
Yeah, she's been sold like Avon.
Yeah. That's why Doug was I'm going to stick up for my boy Dougie a little bit here. So,
yeah, but I sold it to my mom. That was it.
Right. That's why he was skeptical.
That's why I was skeptical. You didn't make much.
Right. I mean, it really didn't pay anything. And there's no trips or anything, no going to Vegas, no cruises.
He's all about the trips.
See, I told you, he just supports my drinking. He just comes along.
He does it. He does a great job.
No, so it took, God, I think he was worried about it being a debt because at that point I wasn't even drinking Shakeology. And so he kept just going, $140 a month for shakes. And he thought that it was going to be a debt. And then I said to him, I was like, just give me 1 month. And so he eventually was like, all right, let's try it. And we did. I went all in, and I think, gosh, I never sold a challenge pack initially, but I was selling the crap out of every program.
Yeah.
I was like, and he was like, oh, okay. And I really kind of done it backwards from everybody else. I'm just now getting into like the building now, and seeing where that's taking. And this past summit was the first summit that he was sitting there blowing up my cell phone with all of these great ideas.
I was taking notes for her.
Yeah.
Good job, Doug.
Like all these extensive ideas. And was there a third summit?
No, I was just going to say that's like four at least, right?
Yeah. So I guess the first 3 he supported the alcohol, and I guess on the 4th one.
But he would still go he would still go.
Yes, he was there.
I didn't miss a workout.
Yeah, he never missed a workout.
He
But he would even go to the event, like the training.
Yep. But this is the first time that I think he's really like seen the bigger picture of it and like started to like brainstorm all these different ideas and how to make it bigger and all that.
I definitely think the guys is an untapped resource. You go to those events and it's got to be 95% women. It seems.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I mean, and she runs a group of like 850 people in her group. I mean, if you could just tap 10% of the spouses, I mean, that's a huge market share right there.
And he is a lot like Brian, like numbers guy. So, and I hate numbers. I'm a lot like Amy, and I think that's how I ended up finding Amy.
Probably.
Yeah, like I keep thinking that like even our children seem alike. It's real creepy. But yeah, he's a number guy, and I'm a lot like you. And so I think he's starting to really see the big picture, and he's actually signing up for Facebook.
What? Are you going to accept our friend request?
No. You have to, because he already has like 5 challengers that want to do a spouse challenge workout. And I was like, it's too late. You're in. I said, you're getting I have the perfect picture for his profile.
I bet we do have a few.
Just imagine.
I remember, Doug has always been supportive. I mean, he's not, I don't think he's always been as involved in the business as maybe I had been or whatever. But I mean, you guys went to Summit very early in your Beachbody business, right? Like only a couple of months. And I feel like we've known you guys forever. So, and I mean, I remember him being supportive and going to the things back then, and even when it was new and it was, just
didn't know much about it. But
maybe he wasn't totally sold, but yeah, like we've probably been on 7 or 8 trips together, right? I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah, pretty close to that. And I mean, if anything, he is now back from Virginia, sort of. I think I saw him more when he was in Virginia, but that's a whole other can of worms.
I'm an engineer for a construction firm like Rob. I work 70 hours a week. So
he's working more now here than you.
For me to focus on this end of the business, I mean, all I can do is support her. I mean, I don't have Facebook, so I'm not up to speed with the social media end of things. I mean, I can remember back when Crystal came to me and she had this girl sending her Ziploc bags of Shakeology. And I think her name was Amy, I believe.
Oh my God.
Before you could get the little
expired.
He was like, do not drink that. You don't know what's in that. That was hilarious. I forgot about that.
And this was before we met you guys. And
it was so early, I didn't have the packets yet. I had to scoop it out and put it in a Ziploc bag.
Well, it's cheaper to send it, yeah.
It's so cheesy. I'm so sorry.
I forgot about that.
I was like, you're not drinking that. I've never heard
supporting her back then, too.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, so I mean, he dragged his feet a little bit, but then the second he saw how it just blossomed naturally, and if anything, like I've said all along, I've done this business kind of backwards. Like I didn't have a like page. I just built off my support group, and I'm now just branching out into social media after 3 years. So I've done this totally backwards. And a lot of that was his not wanting me to be out there in social media. That was another hurdle. He does not want our lives opened up. He's getting better.
I mean, just from my job aspect, it's not something that I guess from a professional standpoint wanted that, but.
I feel that way sometimes too. And I think Terry, we've talked about that before too. Like, so it is hard to like get used to for some people, like having every last thing be out there, and you kind of feel like you're being judged on some of these things. Like, so, if you're a more guarded person, like I tend to be, maybe you are too, Doug, like I totally get that myself. And I think sometimes like we have to communicate like what we're okay with and what we're not,
It's that communication thing again.
Yeah.
There for sure.
So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of doing it a little bit backwards, but and mostly it's just kind of,
I have been known to pull a picture.
So have we, or we edit or sometimes that's a great way to like involve your spouse sometimes too. It's great to have another set of eyes on things like, oh, maybe you could have worded this a little bit differently, or maybe somebody could read it like this and just be careful or whatever. So, I mean, we do that all the time. I mean, or you have to pull a post altogether if it's just not like, who knows? I mean, it just doesn't always occur. When you're posting that often, it doesn't always.
Sometimes you don't think as much, and then it takes a second pair of eyes to be like, okay, maybe that's not the best idea.
I mean, you guys are posting thousands of times a year on your Facebook. I mean, it's not, sometimes, yeah. And some people are better at trying to, look at things from, how is that going to be viewed by whomever in your life or whatever. And, and it is, if you're not going to be super involved in the business, that's a great way to sort of understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, from the get-go, he was a little hesitant, but he is now completely on board with it. And
he's always asking questions. He's always asking the guys questions. He's taking notes. So he's
He sat next to me at plenty of training meeting. That's for sure. He's a great guy, and he wears a hell of an 80s outfit at the 80s party. That's for sure. He rocks that. He definitely won the night, I would say.
I lost my wingman though halfway through.
What did he say?
Yeah. Bring your ID, right? Or who would have thought? Right.
Well, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Love you guys. All right, last but not least, Devin. How are you feeling, Devin? She's been in the hospital. Her back has been awful.
We have to unmute her.
Oh, I'm there she goes.
I'm okay. I'll be okay.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're thinking about you, and we appreciate you being on the call because you guys are awesome, and I know you guys do things, your own way as well. So let's hear a little bit about where you started and where you are now, and then we'll get to questions.
Okay. I joined because I wanted the discount on Shakeology, even though the first time I tried Shakeology, I thought it was revolting. And I think it was before my coach sent me like old samples before they redid chocolate. I don't know how you all drank that before.
You didn't.
I did.
Everybody returned it.
Oh yeah, we did return it.
That was disgusting. Anyway, I tried it, and then I jumped into a Turbo Fire Challenge group, and I thought it was fun. My coach kept saying, "You'd make a really good coach," and I was like, "Dude, I work full time. There's no way." And how can a 300-pound woman inspire anybody? So I was like, no, this isn't going to be for me. Anyways, life got busy. We decided to do Shakeology because she said it was reformulated. So I thought, well, I'll try it. If anything, I'll return it. It was a 30-day money-back guarantee. I was hooked within like 10 days, and Brian's going, okay, so now you're drinking a shake and you're working out and you're losing weight, which is good, but is this really going to last? Is this another one of those weight loss things that you're doing yet again? And I didn't really know what I was doing when I joined. Welcome to that club. And it wasn't until like December. I joined in March. It wasn't until about December that I was like, oh, I kind of get this coaching thing. And we really started to see like consistent paychecks come in. But he still wasn't on board then, I don't think.
I don't know. It's not that I wasn't on board. I don't know. I do my own thing. This social media, I'm very introverted. This social media thing is not for me. I'm doing a little challenge on my challenge app, whatever it's called, just to try and keep myself accountable as I sit here and eat popcorn. I offered it to some of the coaches and said, if you want some help being accountable, come on this. And it's been a week and I'm already sick of commenting on people's stuff and liking people's stuff. And it's like, oh,
you're burnt out already.
You know what? Congratulations. You did your workout. I don't need to see a picture of it. I don't need to see a picture of your food. I don't need to tell you that you look great sweating because most people look like crap.
Speak for yourself.
So that side of it is not me. So it's not that I'm not supportive. That's just not my thing at all. I have no interest in running. I have no interest in doing challenge packs. Most days I don't have any interest in drinking Shakeology or working out.
Yeah, you do. You drink Shakeology.
I drink Shakeology.
Oh, he doesn't want to.
Most days I don't have an interest in drinking Shakeology, but I also don't have an interest in buying new pants. So something's got to give.
Even though he doesn't.
I've seen your workouts. I know you work out.
He doesn't get the social media.
Like Rob said, all you have to do is come in for a couple minutes and go out. I got a spray bottle.
But he's really supportive around the house. And so like that's where, because I worked full time as a photographer. And so he'll tell you why he helps out around the house.
I got so sick of having to sort through the laundry piles and sniff to see what was the cleanest thing in the laundry, or turn something right out so that I could wear it to school and work.
It's true.
And I got so sick of it. And she's never been the domestic goddess. And we love to cook and we love to bake, cleaning. And I mean, somebody was talking about dusting. I think it was Rob was talking about dusting. I think the last time I dusted was when I was 13 and my mom threatened to ground me. I don't dust, So
you load of laundry.
For me, I like my downtime. I like coming home from work and just being able to relax and do my own thing. And so for me, I like to
throw something on Netflix or just chill on the couch. And I thought, well, instead of just chilling on the couch or watching TV or whatever, why don't I put laundry in front of me? And so I'll do 6 or 8 loads of laundry in a day, or, you know, over the course of a couple of days, and I'll have a mountain of clothes and I'll fold, and they're, you know, we should take a picture sometime of the piles and piles and piles of laundry that sit in front of us, because we have 3 kids that like to change outfits 7 times a day because they didn't like what they wore at 10 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, all the laundry, and really, honestly, I did it because I was so sick and tired of not having clothes.
Yeah, it's true. I totally suck at the whole household thing, but I can rock social media all day long. And so he really had to step up. And, you know, it's great when there was days when we were coaching our son's soccer team or whatever, I'd be like, dude, I have to do a call. Like, you got to do this on your own or whatever. And he's right there to step in and do that. Or he doesn't really we talked about this today, he doesn't really do a lot of dishes or kitchen stuff. That's me, and that's fine. And I don't mind it at all. But one thing that we did want to point out that's brought up by every single couple is how much we're on our phones. And it used to cause some problems.
We live half an hour away from so, you know, when we want to go into town to eat or go grocery shopping, she's got a half an hour. And in her mind, she goes, oh, it's a half an hour. I don't have to do anything. I can be on my phone responding to messages or setting up challenge groups. And for me, I'm like, you know what? That's a half an hour where we can talk, because we don't ever, you know, if we see each other, it's usually, hey, how's it going? All right, see you in the morning kind of a thing. You know, we don't really, we're like ships passing in the night a lot of times. So that half hour to me was really important. And I'm not one to put my foot down. She's the alpha male, alpha female, alpha dog. You know, she runs the show. She wears the pants, and usually she wears a pair for me too. So I don't put my foot down a whole lot, but I said to her, you know what? You got to get off your phone when we go into town. It's our time to be together, our time to talk. I don't care what you do. You know, when we go to bed, you know, I understood I had to give, because it really irked me that when we would go to bed, we'd say goodnight and roll over, and she'd be on her phone for another, well, till I fell asleep, and I'm sure beyond that. And I was like, you know what, frick, we're going to bed. Let's do this and go to bed. And so I had to give a little bit there, where, okay, if she can be on her phone, not she can be. It's not like I allow her to be on her phone.
You're so cute.
No, but you know, that I had to give a little bit, where it's not as big of a deal if she's on her phone late at night, as long as when we go into town, she respects and values that time and gives that time to us. And there's the odd time where she's like, oh, I got to make this sale, or I got to make this call, or whatever, and that's fine. But,
and I let him know that, right? Like, when we're going in, if I have to schedule something, then I'll say, look, like, I'm sorry, this was the only time that this person could purchase, and I like to be online when they're purchasing. So just so you know, but on the way home, you know, I won't be online. But anyways, he's like super amazing around the house. He picks up so much slack, and then lets me focus on work, and I don't have to worry about laundry. It's fantastic, honestly.
Yeah, great.
And one more point. He does love the trips, and he likes being able to go away, but it is a sacrifice for our family to get down to Nashville or New Orleans. Like, that's wedding season. That's my jam. So I have to turn away work, and he has to take vacation time from his job to go to these summits and stuff. And it's not always easy. And he's an introvert. It's not like he actually likes hanging out with people. So it's a big deal for him, and I appreciate it.
I don't know if anybody else has picked up on it, but as Summit progresses, I get crankier and crankier every day, because I'm just so sick of people, and I'm so sick of people in my and people I don't know. And
Hey, we had a lovely time in Margaritaville without our IDs. You guys.
You know, and I enjoy that kind of stuff. Once I get to know people, I'm fine, but you know,
Yeah, he's a party pooper.
No. But no, honestly though, you know, we talked, I can't remember if it was after the cruise or what, you know, and she's not making $1 million a year doing this yet.
Not
and,
yet.
You know, I was talking to her, I said, you know, is this something that you need to keep doing? If you're not making enough and not really progressing, is this something that you need to keep doing, or is it time to maybe call it in and find something else, or focus on photography or whatever? And she goes, listen, really, you know, it brings in some extra income every month. And when was the last time we took a family vacation? And that really hit home to me that, you know, even though we may not be making enough to bring me home or bring her home, you know, so she can quit her other job or whatever, it does allow us the opportunity to take some vacations that we wouldn't take otherwise. And, and I absolutely love doing that. And as tough as some it is for me, I actually do enjoy it. And I enjoy that time, and I enjoy getting to know people who have similar goals and whose spouses have similar goals and who go through the same struggles. I mean, we all are different in our own ways, but everybody goes through the same struggles. And, whether it's spending time one-on-one with people like Rob and Darlene, or whether it's being there at the team party, getting to know people. And, last year was my first year, and so I was really shy and really nervous to meet people. And this year it was nice because there's people that I've seen Devin interact with over the last year that I was able to talk to and get to know and kind of put myself out there a little bit more. And to me, that helps solidify the fact, of all the good things the company's doing. And I don't know, I see it's a good company. It's just not my thing.
Right. And it's not going anywhere from our lives ever anytime soon. So we just have to keep finding our groove in everything. And as I grow, we grow as a couple and our family grows. So
that's right. Awesome. Thank you guys so
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. That's
awesome.
really cool.
And I love there's so many different dynamics, and every couple's different, and every spouse will help in a different way. So what happened?
Crystal's screen share.
Crystal. Thank you for the screen share, Crystal.
Oh.
How do we do this?
I don't know. Who gave Crystal control of the meeting?
I didn't hand that over. I don't know what happened here.
Let's see. This is so funny.
We see her page.
You are viewing. Let's see.
Oh, Devin shared the picture here.
Can we throw Crystal out of the meeting? No, I'm just kidding.
Where is she? She's going. Oh, there she is.
Sorry, I don't know what I hit. I guess I don't do computers well either.
No, you always keep it interesting. That's why we love you.
All right, so.
No, lots of supportive husbands, all different roles, but the one kind of common thread is that they support their spouse and what they're doing, whether it be helping around the house or all in on national calls and,
just a cheerleader,
fielding questions. You guys are all like, the phone seems to be a common issue in your household. Imagine like you have two phones going simultaneously, and my phone's getting lit up with questions, and her phone is always lit up. So it's like, it's like a lot of times we're at dinner, like two phones, two phones passing in the night.
We set boundaries, and we also know that when the kids are home, it's not like we're on our phones all the time, because we have 8 hours in the day where the kids are not home, when we can focus on the business. And when they come home, we don't have to do as much. And pretty much most of our team knows that, when our kids are home, we try to make that a priority. So, because definitely you don't want the business to overrun your life, but you want to set boundaries, and family is super important. So, all right, so we want to open the floor to you guys and see if anyone has any questions. Do you want to unmute everyone here?
I think they can unmute
themselves. Yeah, if you want to have a question,
any questions
you guys,
for any of the spouses on the call tonight, or is that what we're doing?
Yep.
Yep.
Does that mean I have to stop eating my popcorn?
Yes, maybe. Any questions?
You got to see this. That's a rookie move right there. You got to put the popcorn off the camera like I do, so they can't see it.
No.
Yeah, there you go. See.
Before picture, so we can have a Rob before and after.
Yeah, Rob rocked that. I can't wait to see you on the tbb.com tomorrow. That'll be cool.
Either tomorrow or next, she said. So
that's cool.
You'll be a celebrity.
All right, I want to hear from Heather. Heather's been very quiet, and I want to see if she has any questions, because she dreamed up this call, and I want to see.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I don't actually have any questions. I just wanted to say I think you guys did amazing. I love to hear from all the spouses. I love to hear how raw the husbands were and how honest you guys were. And my husband was making comments when you guys were talking about getting personal and posting too much stuff. He was making comments.
Yeah. Casey's got it wrong, man. Holy cow.
He doesn't even know half the shit I post, okay?
No one on this call should complain about that, other than, like with the stuff that's on Heather's wall. You won that one, bud. That's for sure.
Hands down.
Thank you guys. Like every single one of you guys, really, really helpful. I appreciate it. So thank you.
Right. You have a question, Darlene? Did I see your hand raised?
I'm just giving a thumbs up.
Oh, gotcha.
Heather.
All right. Any questions? If not, I would love to hear all the couples that spoke, just one tip that you think would help, your spouse get on board, or what helped them get on board. This may be a common denominator, but Darlene and Rob, we'll start with you.
Oh boy. Way to put them on the spot.
Get your spouse to go to an event. First of all, you go to an event, but get your spouse to go to an event. That's, I know there'll be other similar tips. So I'm glad it was the first one I could say.
You stole mine.
All right. Michelle.
I concur.
Terry says concur. Okay. I think they should say communication, because they talked a lot about communication. And I think that is, pretty important. So.
Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, in anything, this is a lot, like, it's not just coaching, it's anything in your, not that our marriage is perfect. I've had a couple marriages. But, you have to communicate. That's one thing I learned from my first marriage. You really need to communicate. So there's your tip from someone that knows, If you're not communicating with your partner, how is he or she ever going to know what you want? And if you're both doing that, and you should give each other some time and whatever.
Yes, I agree.
It's looking forward. I look forward to the flexibility of it as well. Like Michelle, when she was full-time stylist, she was working Tuesday to Friday, 12-hour days, and then Saturday, 8 hours. And when I say she was working 12 hours, that was like literally she might get 10 minutes in the middle of the day to wolf down some lunch, but she's a workaholic. So she would like stack her colors. Color would go on, sit. Next color would go on, sit. Color would come off, cut. It was just back to back to back to back. No sitting. And, at the end of the year, she'd make, say she has 2 other stylists at that time, maybe 3. She might come out with 60, 70 grand, which seemed good, but with the amount of hours she was putting in and, trying to manage these other girls, it didn't make any sense at all. It made no sense at all. Like you're spinning your wheels. And like, I'd rather have the salon sitting there working on its own, doing half that amount, her not being there at all. So we have something, and if she's going to put that kind of effort in, like with Beachbody, it's exponential what you can do if you put the effort in.
That's right.
I had a really good example today, and not to get too personal with everyone, but my dad went into the hospital today. And I mean, that's an emotional thing, but I'm just sitting there at the hospital with my computer, and honestly, I sold 3 challenge packs in that time. I can't cut hair when my dad's in the hospital and I'm waiting for test results. But today, it got my mind off what I'm dealing with right now. Helping other women and talking to them got my mind off of that. I felt like I was doing something worthwhile. And I'm sorry to be so blunt, but I was making money. Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, it really is crazy what you can do with this. The end. We talked too much.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. No, it's the freedom and the time freedom to be able to do what you want to do in the middle of the day. We get an email from Jack's teacher saying he's crying in school and he wants you to come to lunch. And I'm like, okay, well, I have a few calls. I just got to rotate them around, figure it out, but I'll be there, because this job, it may have been hard work and it may have been a lot of sacrifice getting there, but we got it to this point where we can go to the school in the middle of the day if our kids need us. And that means more to us than anything in the world. That's worth, what we're doing. So,
oh yeah,
for sure.
It's the things that you don't think about when you're killing yourself to get to the top, is that, you think about the money is great, but like, it's what the money buys you, that time freedom, to just like little things, like when you work 9 to 5, you grocery shop on a Saturday with everyone else in the whole world, right? Sure. Like when you have time freedom, you grocery shop on Monday when no one else is there, when you go to the mall, you don't go on Saturday, you go on Monday. It's where nobody's there. It's little things that you don't think about that stress out your life when you work a 9 to 5 for someone else. That when you make it, and I know so many of you guys are going to make it, because so many of you guys are so dialed in. like we were. We just look and we see like, okay, they're a year behind us, or there's 18 months behind us. But if they keep at it, they'll get there. You guys will all get there if you really want this like we did. We just wanted it so bad. Like, we just believe like that would be my one tip for the guys is just believe. Like don't think that like we had something that you guys wouldn't have, or that we didn't struggle, or that this didn't suck from time to time, or that we didn't go through ups and downs, or that Amy didn't rank advance for 3 years.
My God.
You know, like that, like these things happened and we did all right. We made it. And our life is pretty awesome. And then the only other thing I would say is like, if you really want to be like the all-in husband, like I've chosen to be, like really think about like, and ask your wife or spouse, whatever, what do you love about this business? And and think about yourself, like what are your strengths? What are you good at? I didn't think I was going to be like a social media guy or like involved like that. I didn't think that my life would evolve into this, but I really kind of saw an opening where I thought I still do like think my wife has really strong strengths in some areas of the business, and that I could just, maybe I had other things that I could fill in and help her out. And like they will say like 2 people can do the work of 3. So if you really get dialed in and start thinking about what does she like about this business, what is she got it, and then what can I add to it? Where does my life experience and strengths come in? Because I really think a husband that comes in and can really, take some of the load off your wife can really make a huge difference. I think you can see it on the call tonight. It doesn't have to be, social media guy or team whatever I do. It can be housework or whatever, just to kind of free her up from these day-to-day things.
Definitely. Yes, I definitely agree. Who didn't we touch on? Crystal, what would you say one thing that helped Doug become a supporter?
Take it away, honey.
I just think with my job, I mean, she couldn't get a regular job anyway. She was doing the workouts anyway. It's something she loves, so more power to her. If she can make a career out of it, absolutely.
So belief. You gotta believe in her, right?
Gives her the flexible time schedule like you guys were talking about to take care of the kids, bring them where they need to go. A lot of times I don't get home till 6, 7 o'clock at night. So. And
when I started this, I was a stay-at-home mom, and we knew that I was eventually going to go back to work. But then when I started this and, I was making the paycheck, it's able to keep me home longer. And so I haven't had to go back to work. I would love to bring him home full time and get him out of this 4 a.m. to, I don't know, but I don't even know. Even if I could bring him home, he's so freaking stubborn. I don't think he'd come home. But
right. That's the other thing is like your journey doesn't have to be the same as ours, or like doesn't have to be like that. Maybe that's not your goal. Maybe Doug likes his job and like that he would, and I don't know, but
I think we'd kill each other.
It's possible.
That's a struggle. We were talking about that.
Talk about
like, we are together 24 hours a day, almost all the time. And, that can be a struggle sometimes too. I mean, get on each other's nerves, frankly, like that you're just around each other too much.
But
I remind her that, like, we don't say goodbye to each other that much, So, like, most people go like 9 to 5 and they go in separate directions, and, it is easier sometimes, but but that's all right. You'll learn to deal with that. It's not a big deal.
It's definitely
you'll turn to hard drugs, like alcohol, like some of us.
Angry sex. Angry sex.
Listen to her.
Oh Lord.
She gives good advice.
Oh, okay. Did I talk to everyone?
Did you ask Dara and Rob? I think Dara and Rob.
She said events.
Oh yeah. She started.
Said events, but I didn't say. Oh, Devin. Did I touch on them? Devin, one tip before we head out.
Me or you?
Oh, I don't know.
I think if I had to give a tip, it would be. I mean, we talked about communication, but I think it's very specific communication. So, initially my frustration was, hey, you spend too much time on your phone, and that's a form of communication. But specific communication, you know what? I need this time, or, I need this help from you. I can't do everything around the house, so, I'll do what I can, but this is what I can offer, and touch on your strengths and weaknesses, and what you want to do and don't want to do. I mean, I don't want to do dishes. I come home and there's a pile of dishes and, you know, stuff sitting on the counter or whatever. And that's not my thing. I don't want to do dishes. So I very rarely will touch dishes. I make the kids unload the dishwasher.
That's good. Get the kids involved.
Yeah, we should do stuff like
need
that.
to do
Our
that.
kids live the life. Yeah, they have no idea.
Oh,
We're mean.
no, but that's another thing. People won't always understand. Like we both work from home and we're always in our workout clothes. And I feel like, you know, not everybody's going to understand when we're home and doing this full time.
Everyone around us, I'm convinced, thinks we're a couple of losers. Like, we don't leave the house very much. Amy and I, I don't shave. I shave like once a week. Like, and like I wear the same things all the time. Like we go to a party, and I know you guys have been through this. Some of you guys, you must have, and you try to explain what you're doing. Or even, but like it gets worse because like when you're the husband doing that, and like they're like what? Really? I mean, every once in a while you'll meet like a coach or someone who's been a coach or someone who's in MLM, and they get it, and you're like, wow, that's awesome.
That's
that's
rare,
cool.
though.
But it's rare. And like we were just at a party over the weekend and finally I just kind of shortened it so short that like hopefully they don't ask questions about it, and they just, not that I'm embarrassed, it's just like I just don't have the energy to explain it.
Right.
But
it's a lot for people to put their heads around not doing the 9-to-5 thing.
Yeah.
So.
Or, you know, and people don't get it, or they'll say just things that I don't know. It's just, people are never around you. I'm just convinced are never going to fully get it. So you just it's the kind of thing that no matter how successful you are, you might just have to put that part of it, you know?
Yeah. It's worth it. To me, the time freedom is worth people not understanding, you know, looking at us like we're crazy, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know? So
it could be worse. It could be worse. You could say that you're selling hairspray.
That's true. That's true, Terry. That's true.
I'm just waiting for my.
Sure Terry made out on that deal. Actually, now I think about it.
As soon as I become the hair wash boy is when I'm out. So.
Oh yeah. Scrub the hair.
Shampoo boy.
You'll be doing mani-pedis before you know it.
Oh goodness.
Well, thanks to everybody all the spouses who chimed in on the call tonight. I mean, that was really awesome to see. And it was awesome to see everybody.
And I know, you know, Devin's not feeling well, and I know Michelle had a rough day, but I appreciate you guys taking the time out to share and to be on the call. Any other last minute questions from those spouses who did not talk? And then we'll call it a night. All right. Well, you guys have a fantastic night. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, everyone. Thanks again.
Bye, guys.